Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We are in the gym, so we're back with some training footage today, which is very exciting. I'm so excited to start bringing you some exciting training footage again. This is the first time that myself and Joe have recorded. We've been back in the gym since prep has finished. So now off-season is getting underway. I believe at the moment I'm like 3.5 weeks post-show, which I kind of feel like now I don't need to keep saying that. Like I always think, when do you keep saying how many weeks you are post-show until you're just in off-season now? And that's kind of how I feel, to be honest, which is a good thing. Like I feel good. I don't really feel like I need to say that I'm like post-show anymore. I feel very good, both mentally and physically, in where I'm at. Obviously, I'm probably still not at a point where I'm going to be like balls to the wall in the gym. That's the only thing, is like you can get very carried away with yourself. I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to go, and really I'm still 110 pounds and I need to be a little bit mindful, and I'm still kind of getting in my groove. But you've caught me at a good point now, and this is why I wanted to start training here, is because I've been through a full rotation of my new sessions. My split is still the same, still doing push, pull, off, legs off. I will probably never ever change that. I'll probably keep running that split to the grave, because it is literally my favorite training split ever. I can manipulate it as I need to, really based on my needs. So essentially looking at 2 on, 1 off, 1 on, 1 off. And then you can adapt those sessions based on what your physique demands are. So I've been through a full rotation of those sessions, and now I'm like back rounds. This is my second time doing the session. Today we have got legs, so it's going to be a fun one. I'm looking forward to getting after it. It's going to be definitely better than the last leg session that you guys saw, which I looked back, I realised I was actually wearing the same outfit, but I was like 2 weeks out at the end of prep, so it was very much just get the job done. And now it's like, yeah, we get the job done, but we have a lot more fun along the way. So it's going to be a fun session. I'm excited to guide you guys through it. I'll talk you through it as we go along. But we're just starting with the usual, so ab work, mobility work. Ab training doesn't stop in the off season. If anything, it's when you need to like really hammer down on it again, because just like any other muscle group, if you want it to grow, you need to train it hard when you're in a surplus, just like you would do anything else. And I don't think you can ever have too strong of a midsection. I just need to keep going after it, because it makes a huge difference. I saw that a lot this year. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling on, so I'll go on forever. Crack on with the session. Layout of this session then today is probably not too dissimilar from a normal leg session. Reason being is that leg sessions really aren't going to change much, unless you are maybe specialising a bit more towards like glutes and hamstrings or quads or whatever your goals are. But I think that brings me to an important point of like, what are my goals now with this training phase moving forwards in off season? You know, does everything change? And the reality is that not much really needs to change. There's a very simple reason for that, is that as a bodybuilder and with my progress, I just need to keep growing. For most competitors, all you need to focus on as a whole for the majority of your bodybuilding career is just continuing to grow as much as possible, continuing to move forwards and continuing to add on size. unless you have very striking weaknesses or you are much more advanced in your training career and you need to maybe specialize for a specific category or whatever it may be, then you don't need to worry too much about specifics and honing in on one thing, because otherwise what you do is you become so fixated on this one thing that you pull away from the overall goal of like, you just need more muscle, you just need to keep growing. And that's really what I'm focused on at the moment, especially because that's what I like to do as well. Like, that's how I like bodybuilding, is I just want to keep growing to be as big as I can possibly be. I won't ever, unless I really have to, I won't ever change my training for a class or a criteria or anything like that, because it's just not what I enjoy. Like, I enjoy this in here, I enjoy getting strong, I enjoy getting, like, in my own physique goals, regardless of what judges want, I want to be as big as I can possibly be everywhere. Like, that's all that I like. So I just keep working towards that goal. It's as simple as that. You know, maybe when we get further into the off season, I do some mini diets, then, you know, I can start to think a bit more about, oh, where am I going to compete next time and where's going to allow me to be the most competitive. But that for me is a bit more of an afterthought, to be honest, because like my long-term goal, I just want to be the best bodybuilder I can be. That's it. And I will build the physique that, you know, falls in line with the way that I perceive bodybuilding my training. So I think that you can always do that really in your process, because if all those things align, you'll have the most fun as well anyway. That's what I think. So yeah, long story short, we've got a normal leg session today really. Three, two.
Come on. Yep. No touch. Got it. Yes.
No. Ah. Fucking hell.
1, 2, 3. Lights.
Yes. Nice. Yeah, easy. All day, come on. Again. In we go. Yes, all the way. Nice. Good.
Take that.
I'm still massively getting used to obviously the RDL and then this.
Yeah.
So close. That's one thing that's different, is we have put my hip hinge back in my pull days. So my leg days are more like leg days, and not posterior days as well, specifically.
You still want this in?
No, I don't.
Doesn't want that in there.
But I,
Machine.
as a result, shut up. This is why we don't train together. I hip hinged obviously 2 days ago. So I'm getting used to now like hip hinging. I did like paused RDLs as well, which are very new. So I'm getting used to that new proximity of that. So this is something that, you know, even though I'm on my second rotation of this, I'm getting used to the way that, you know, the sessions feel, how my recovery feels coming into it and all that stuff. So it's not always going to be like instantly flying when there is a bit of an adaptation period as well.
Yes, come on. Let's go. Yes. Lovely. And again. One. I'm here. Let's go. Yes. Good. Tiny touch. Lovely. Nice. Great.
Those that might match.
In this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it literally looks, what did you say this looks like? Screen washer fluid.
Yeah, screen wash.
It's actually just EAA's creatine and highly branched cyclodextrin, but it's all like blue slushy flavour. So it looks like a terribly terribly unhealthy drink, but it is just it's just blue flavour. And it has got carbs in it, which is glorious. So seated hamstring curls are next, as usual. In the other session, I think we do leg extensions earlier on, just based on the movements that we have in that session, which I'll cover when we come to it, but this is a very similar format. Seated hamstrings next, and this just basically prioritises this isolation work at the start, but also then means that we're a bit more ready to go by the time we go into the main compound work. We're not just going like straight in with a leg press and potentially also really hurting ourselves. You know, it creates a nice flow to the session, and it's definitely nice now that I come on to movements like this, and right now I'm 5-6 pounds up on my leanest or my lightest. I already feel the benefit of that, which is great. It's not massive, it's not significant, but you know, even it is weird, you know, you see the scales going up when they've been going down for so long. So now for me to see the scale weight go up, it sometimes feels a bit weird, and you might see my face hopefully is looking a little bit healthier than the last time that you saw it. But you know, to come in and to be able to start to feel a little bit better in here, like this is the most important thing. And I'll touch on that when we get onto the big movements, because that's where it really, really comes into play. A good sign is even that when I get on that now, I do need a bit of a push down to get the pad in. Whereas before, like, my legs just disappeared under the pad, which is not a nice feeling because you just feel skinny. And that like initial bit of like body fat that comes on where I just feel a bit less like a twig, honestly, is really nice. I just feel less fragile, and it's good. I feel a little bit more like I train again. So we'll just keep building on that.
Okay, bye.
Lovely. Yeah, easy work, come on. Nice. Good, come on. Yeah, keep them coming.
One with you.
Let's go, come on. Here's control all the way. Good, yours.
Take.
Nice.
Cooked. And again. Come on. Yes. Yes, good. Keep going. Grab it with the hams. Good. That's better.
Yep. So my hamstrings are actually pretty sore from the last session from RDLs, but it's also where, like, I know I'm still fine and strong and safe to go in and take a good set. Like, and this is the thing that sometimes I think people forget, even just in off-season in general, is like, you don't always feel like super fresh, recovery's amazing, like, and progressions just come easily. Like, you're still gonna have to work through a bit of soreness sometimes. You're gonna have to work hard for your progressions and for hard sets. Like, it feels hard, just like in prep, when training feels hard and you can still train hard, you know? It's the same sort of thing. You know, being a little bit sore doesn't mean that you can't still train. Doesn't mean that you can't still take a good set. There's a difference between being a bit sore and actually, you know, being at a risk of injury as such. A movement like a seated hamstring curl is a really good movement to teach you how to get locked into a set, because as soon as you start the set on a seated ham, like, you are under that load and under that tension, you get no relief. You know, like, you have to control the eccentric into the stretch, power down. Then straight away, the next rep goes. It's not like a squat or a leg press where sometimes you'll stop at the top, or you might stop when you've fully extended your legs and kind of have a little bit of a rest. It teaches you that as soon as you get locked in, you are in, and you keep those reps going until you get to failure, until they get slower, which is something you can cross-transfer into other movements. So if you're maybe struggling with that and other things, of course it doesn't entirely replicate it, but it teaches you that principle. Okay then, so the next movement in this session for me is the gym Lacko leg press. We have recently implemented this as I go into this next phase of training, something a little bit different, and it's just a great leg press, to be honest. I've not done it in ages, and I have obviously the privilege of being able to do different movements. If you train in a gym where you've got one leg press, one hack squat, you're probably just going to be doing the same stuff all the time. That's fine, that will still give you really good progress, but it's just to help you understand that it's not that there's anything special about this, it's just different and it's a good movement. So I'm doing this first. In my previous prep sessions I was just leg pressing and then moving on to the rest of the session, so I do actually have a squat pattern, but I do it after this in this session. Reason being is that squat pattern is a Smith squat, which is for me one of the best squat patterns that I can do, just based on like my body and my very, very short height. I'm limited on a lot of other things. Like I tried the pendulum that AJ's on today and it just does not work. So I do the Smith squat, but because it's a movement that I can get very carried away with it, I do like to get strong with if I have it first in the session. I then get to a point where I start to accumulate like niggles and issues because I start to load way too much through like my traps, which there are some movements that sometimes you want to intentionally limit how strong you are at them. Not always, like there'll be some movements that you want to prioritize your strength towards, and some movements where you intentionally want to be a bit weaker. So for me, a Smith squat is something where I intentionally want to be a bit weaker so that I'm not loading my spine massively to the point where I actually injure myself. Like that's not ideal. But I still want to go and do a good set of squats, but just not one that I'm trying to like constantly overload and whack multiple plates on. If I can still do a good Smith squat, but not hurt myself, that's ideal. So that's why I do that second in the session, especially at this body weight. It's still a little bit safe for me to do that. So I've got 2 sets on here first, and then we'll move on to that afterwards. It's also been really good for me to have AJ around for these sessions because, as I mentioned, during the majority of prep, especially at the end, you're kind of going in to like get a job done, and you forget both the mindset and the approach that you kind of need to take coming into sessions to just start getting after it again, honestly, because you're obviously not focused on progressing. And the first couple of sessions I came in, AJ kind of had to remind me, he was like, you know, like you are getting heavier now and you can put some more load on and you can actually push yourself for a bit more. And I kind of needed that. I need to see a lot of what he does so that I can start to envision that into my sets again. Because not that you forget, you slip out of like believing and reminding yourself that you can do that, because you're having to be smart. Whereas now it's like I just need those reminders of like, okay, I can actually get after it again. Like it's okay for me to do that, whereas previously it wouldn't have been okay for me to do that. Every time I come to these sessions now, I'm like, okay, that was my number last week. I don't just have to maintain that set. Like I can maybe put a little bit of load on, or I can know that I can go for more, and that's good. So if you're in the headspace where you need that as well, hopefully this video will help. But it's something I do with a lot of my clients too, where they'll send me their sets, and I do have to give them that confidence to say like, right, great set, next week, 5 kilos on that. Easy, no problems. And sometimes you just need that external perspective or opinion to just remind you and validate to you like, no, you're good, you can be confident and you can get after it. So that's what we'll do today. It's fucking easy. Powerful fucking set, come on. Come on. Let's see it, come on. Yeah. Yes! Unreal. Yeah, powerful fucking reps. Yes, keep them coming. All day. All day. See him move. Good, come on. Dig the fuck in, they're moving fast, let's go. All good. Go again. Go again. Let it settle. And we fucking go. Come on. Powerful as fuck. Nothing but power. Nothing but power. Through. All you. Yes. Lovely.
Fuck!
Unreal.
Fuck.
Fucking hell.
Let's go. Come on. That's it. Go after it. Go after it. Yes. Come on. Good. Keep going. Yes. Come on then. Let's go. Yeah. Come on. Beautiful. Well done. Lovely.
When you load this leg press on that peg, it's so fucking hard in the mid-range. Oh, that's why we split it on the back of set. But it's good. It's good because it teaches you to really push through reps that they're just really difficult, honestly. Like this gets hard so fast. Like you do the first rep and you're like, oh, that was difficult, but we'll keep going, and then they do feel like a real battle to get through, but they're the sets that, you know, you've got to really, really, really embrace. And that's the thing with leg training in general, like it's the most painful of them all. I see people who can push themselves so hard in push and pull sessions, but when it comes to the leg movements, it just doesn't correlate the same, and it's because it does take a different mindset and mentality to just embrace the pain. Like, no, I've said this before, but like, you're not gonna die. It's painful, and it's painful in a good way, and it's difficult, but you can push through it and you can push yourself there. You just have to believe in yourself that you can do it. You have to see it and then make it happen. Powerful reps, let's go. Yes, all day, all day. Yes, good, go again. Come on. More there. Yeah, good, come on. More than you think, come on. Let's fucking see it now. Powerful, powerful. Yes, 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 yes. All you, all you, all you, all you. Good. Nice. Brutal. So I do actually think on a movement like that, there is almost like subconscious psychological benefit of me like touching that when he's obviously at that sticking point, because I've said this before, but like I'm not curling 10 plates with my right arm. I wish I was, but I'm not. I'm literally just touching it, because unfortunately if I needed to squat on this, I actually probably couldn't, because I'm not quite tall enough or strong enough. But it's just psychologically knowing that somebody's there. And even just hearing somebody be like, yeah, it's still moving. Because sometimes you have those reps where we're in the set and you literally feel like you're like stuck on buffer, you know, like you're literally buffering, but there is actually movement there. It is going, you've just got to like, it's like when you're watching the bar moving, like, is it moving? You've just got to squint. It's like, yeah, it's still moving. You just sometimes need somebody there to tell you like, yeah, keep going. You can keep moving through it, because you can often push through more of those reps than you realise. Oh. All right, so on to Smith squats then now. And this is a movement that I absolutely love. I absolutely love it. And they're already feeling a little bit better than they did last week, just from, again, a little bit more body weight, a little bit more time spent recovering, feeling a bit less fragile than I have done. But I am actually going to intentionally take a little bit of a load decrease from what I did last week, just 2.5 kilos aside, because I had to kind of like guesstimate what I actually wanted to take on this last week, so I've not done it in so long. And it was a decent set, but I want it to feel not too easy, but I want to almost like overshoot like the load a little bit, in the sense that like I'd rather go for something that's a bit too easy that I can build on and like really nail it, rather than kind of constantly be like chasing my tail a little bit, especially on a new movement. You know, whenever you have a new movement put into your program, you need to make sure that you take your time to actually solidify the execution, make sure that you've patterned the movement, it's safe, it's strong, it's powerful, you feel confident, and then you can start building from there. So if that means in the first couple of rotations, you need to kind of find your feet a little bit, take the time to do that, and then you can just continuously move on the trend upwards, rather than kind of being like backwards, forwards. And also you don't want to hurt yourself, especially right now, I cannot afford to do that. So I want to be like, yeah, that was nailed, and then I can build on it moving ahead. And as I said, the purpose of this is not really me going in and like, obviously I'm full sending it, but I'm not trying to do any sort of like crazy loads, or I'm not chasing down any specific loads on this right now. Like I just need to take good sets on a Smith squat. That's the most important thing. So we'll do really just one more warm up on this, because I just need to feel the movement, but my quads are full of blood, they're good to go. So it's just kind of patterning it. And that again saves a load of energy, versus if this was my first movement, I'd be spending like literally 4 or 5 minutes warming up on this. So I'm already warm, I'm already ready to go. I just need to pan it, then we get after a good set from there. Your last warm up should basically be a carbon copy of what your set is going to look like, in terms of the execution, in terms of the way that you approach it, in terms of your setup. So when I approach my last warm up, I approach it just like I would do for my top set, except I'm just saving like, you know, 10-15% of like my mental capacity and focus and neural drive. But everything else is the same, like the way I approach the bar, the way that I breathe before I go into the set, the setup that like if I need to wear my knee sleeves, if I need to put a belt on, whatever it may be, because then that is basically your like final preparation, tick that box, good to go, and then you can literally just transfer that into the working set. So it is literally your final point of preparation, so please don't rush through it.
Lovely, come on. Keep going. Yes, come on. Yes. Beautiful, come on. Big fucking drive. Get up. Nice set.
As brutal as it is, it feels epic doing stuff like that, and just knowing I can keep building on that, getting stronger, being more powerful, and not being afraid of feeling fragile anymore. Like I do really dislike that at the end of prep, because for me, the reason why I fell in love with bodybuilding is because I love training. I love the day by day of this. So you have to sacrifice and make that compromise at the end of prep. It's just part of it. But to get back in and do this stuff, this is everything. And it's what drives me in off season. It's what allows me to not care about the scales going up, to not care about the fact that, you know, I wake up this morning and I'm like, oh, my face is feeling a bit puffy, and you know, I'm filming today or whatever it is, and do I look a little bit softer? Like, yeah, I do. But it allows me to do this stuff that I love, and that's so much more important. I'm appreciative of my body like this because it allows me to do the stuff that I love. You know, that's really important. So if you can love the stuff that you do in here, it will just allow you to get so much more out of your progress and your potential, particularly in off season. We've got a rest pause set here, just a single leg extension. Rest pause set is also another really, really good method of teaching somebody how to push all the way to failure, especially on like an isolation movement. So you're in a very, very safe movement, first and foremost, where if you fail, you're not going to hurt yourself. And a rest pause literally teaches you that you basically go until you can't go anymore. You know, rather than just thinking that's the rep range and I'm done, set's over, it's like, no, rest, go again until there's nothing left. And you're safe to do that on something like this, especially like now at the end of the session, when all of the main work is done, and you're going to be pretty smashed anyway. You're not probably going to be putting a load of load on. It's a really, really good opportunity for you if you're struggling with getting used to what it feels like to push to failure, to really test that and just familiarise yourself with how that feels. No. No, fuck off. Fuck off. Fuck me. Yeah, I couldn't just go into my other leg straight away on that one. It's helpful to have AJ to actually go in the middle and then give me enough time to rest. But like, it's the same thing with, you know, split squat, single leg press, most unilateral movements other than things that aren't as overall fatiguing, like a lateral or something. But you shouldn't really be able to go from one leg to the other and take just as much of a high quality set on both legs, because like I'm out of breath, I'm tired, my other leg's knackered, I've been bracing, I've been pulling myself in. I need to just get myself back to the same position that I was in before I went into that first leg, which probably just going to require a little bit of time in between to rest and regather myself.
They in the studio with their lay some recipes of drum. You was straight stern. If I live my nigga 21.
Fucking no. When I have gotten really, really strong at split squat, I'm really confident with it. My other squat patterns just fly, because that's the benefit of doing this, is it does allow you to get much better at your squat patterns. You know, often when I see people who are struggling to just like nail a squat pattern in general, on like a hack or a pendulum, if I'm to get them to do a split squat, they almost can't do it. And it's like, if you can't actually just go through a standard pattern of like that squatting on one leg, then how can you be loading up plates on a hack? Obviously it's not the exact same thing, but if you can nail this down, there is a massive cross transfer and benefit of getting strong, getting skillful at doing a movement like this, and how that then cross transfers into the rest of your sessions. So everything you do isn't always about, oh, what do you get out of this and what muscle group you're training. Sometimes it's about the wider benefit that actually gives you within your entire training program. Again, Joe just made a great point that it also does help you to address imbalances, obviously with the work itself, but also just your own connection of like being powerful through one leg to the other, because most people say that. They go, oh, I go on split squats and one leg feels way stronger than the other, and that's normal. You know, like we all have one side that is more dominant than the other. Usually it's the side that you like right with, so if you're right-handed, your right side's going to be a bit stronger, you're going to feel a bit more natural in those positions. But that's why it's good to do stuff like this, so you can kind of wire those same like patterns through the other side. And then again, that cross transfers into your other movements, so that then when you get on, you know, those dual leg movements, your leg press, your hacks, you're not just predominantly pressing or using your stronger side. You can use, you know, your whole body, or ideally use both legs a little bit more evenly. We are just getting towards the end of the session now. Obviously we did split squats, now just finishing off with calves. And now I'll do just a single rest pause set on lateral. Still doing that at the end of the session because I can afford to do that top up working legs. Whilst I touched a little bit upon training for enjoyment, you can still train for enjoyment and still meet your goals. I still need more side delts, so if I can put more side delt in these sessions, phenomenal. But it is now, it's like 3:30, so I have been training for 2.5 hours so far. So I started my session at 1. And that's honestly just how long these sessions take me. And I like taking that long with my session. If I needed to, and if you need to, you can make your sessions more efficient. Like you can get your session done in maybe 1.5 hours or 2 hours if that's something that you need to do for your lifestyle. And bodybuilding needs to fit in line with your lifestyle. You know, like you have another job, you have other commitments, you have a family. But like for me, bodybuilding is my life. And since I started training when I was 16, my dream literally was to be able to do this. You know, I wanted to be able to have as much time as I need in the day to come to the gym and just focus on my bodybuilding process, because that's what I love to do. And I made sure that from that point, I, you know, created a career and a career path that would enable me to do that, because that was really important. So don't like look at these sessions and think, oh, they're really long, I have to take that much time in my day. Like if it doesn't fit in with your lifestyle, like that's okay. For me, I love this. And like 2.5 hours in the grand scheme of things is nothing. You compare to other sports where they're training hours a day, you know, hours and hours and hours and hours. Like we do 4 or 5 sessions a week. Like I'm talking total in the week, it's like what, 10 to 12 hours of training, something like that. It's nothing really. So we're quite fortunate as bodybuilders that it's actually not that demanding when you put it into perspective. You can often sometimes do a bit more than you realise. So, you know, if it is a time restriction thing, then yeah, you can make it work. But if it is just in your head, you're thinking, oh, it's a bit long, it's not really that long. Not when you break it all down, then you can probably do a little bit more than you realise.
Don't give up, it's too strong. Love to the wild, wild world. Shout out to nigga. And it ain't even about the dough. It's about getting down for you, stand for it, yo. We're gonna rock, we gonna fall. We let it rock, we gonna let it go.
Oh, hell. All right, that is the session wrapped up. I feel positively smashed, which is a nice feeling. I even said in one of my recent videos how it kind of like helps a little bit as well with like even appetite suppressant post-show, because for me anyway, when I'm really smashed in a session, I have like almost no desire to eat. Not that that's necessarily a good thing, but it does help a little bit in those stages. And that's normal when you're off fatigued anyway. But yeah, very, very good session. It's just nice, honestly, to just be in my groove, feel like I'm still sending things day by day, week by week. It's just, I feel more like myself again, which is good. And you sometimes lose a little bit of perception through the latter stages of a prep as to like how much maybe your personality changes or your energy changes, especially if you've had like a longish season like I did, because I was technically in stage lean condition for like 7 weeks. Obviously I got much leaner towards the end, but you get very adapted to how it feels being there, adapted to how it feels being in a deficit, especially when you're in a deficit for nearly 40 weeks. So it's nice to feel a bit more like myself, get my oomph back a bit in the gym, but also just feel like me, you know, like within my personality and things like that, which hopefully you guys will see a bit more. And like I say, these are just all the positives that I just continue to focus on. I prepared myself for all of these positives before I came into off-season, but now that I'm here, I just appreciate them even more so. You know, it's like not fixating on the negatives, and realistically as well, like you choose whether you see something as a negative as well. Like, is having more body fat a negative? In my eyes, like, no, it's not. Like, and I think that's what you have to change, is your perception between being leaner or having less body fat as being better. Or that you even look better for having less body fat. Like, I actually don't think I look better when I'm leaner. Like, I don't like looking like that. It's for a competition, for an extreme pursuit and goal that I chase down, but I don't want to be there. Like, I don't feel like a woman. I don't feel like myself. Clothes don't fit me right. I can't train in the way that I want to. Like, it is literally just for an extreme purpose. And you have to remind yourself of that, you know, when you come away from off-season. Like, now, yeah, in the video, maybe my face doesn't look as drawn in, but that's a good thing, because I probably look a bit happier, a bit healthier, a bit more normal, as I should be. And I need to also really show that to you guys, because I think, unfortunately, there is a lot of stuff, even just in mainstream fitness media. I think we actually do a very good job in the bodybuilding industry to discuss how it's not normal to be lean all the time and have abs, especially as a female. But I think in mainstream fitness, social media, you know, like most of the girls and influencers who are sponsored by these big companies are just lean all year round and they've got abs, and like, that's actually not realistic for most females. It's not. You know, most of you are going to be in a really harsh calorie deficit speed day. You're going to feel like trash. You're not going to have a menstrual cycle, and that's not good. That's not an image that I am ever going to portray, because I definitely don't sit there naturally. And when I'm at a healthy spot, I don't look like that. And that's good for me to show. So yeah, I've gone off on a tangent, as I always do. But I'm very, very happy with where I'm at, essentially. I've trained legs, so I'm not doing any form of physique update after this session, but I think we've got a full session in soon, so I'll probably show you how things are looking, not because I fixate too much on my physique. Again, like, I don't associate with necessarily being in like a good or better or bad spot or whatever it may be. I just focus on my training, really, because that's what's important. I only look at my physique, honestly, when I have to get on stage. Other than that, I like to pay attention to how I feel. But you guys need to know what these stages look like, because it's important for you to know that, you know, when you're maybe on the way up, what is, you know, realistic for us to look like in those stages. So yeah, we'll touch on that next week. But if you have made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. Please, you know, like, subscribe, all that amazing stuff. And if there's anything that you want to see as I go through this off season, please let me know, because that's what these videos are for. I want to bring you as much value as I possibly can. So if there's anything specific that you want to see from these sessions, anything you want me to discuss, shoot it in the comments below. But yeah, until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. Catch you in the next one.